And thank you very much for joining us. I guess sort of a day in arrears, one can say Happy Democracy Day. Of course, that was June 12th. That was yesterday. But, you know, it's continuing. Here we are on the 13th, and in Abuja, there is, at the Eagle Square, the president is actually there now. There's a Democracy Day parade. It's an annual event, as you well know. And so here we are with that particular parade. In fact, I think we can bring you some live pictures just by way of showing you a peek of what is going on. The parade, as I was saying, is an annual exercise. It's held in honor of the nation's return to civil rule. This is just a cutaway from part of it. Our President Buhari is in place. He arrived to a general salute. And as we were told, even before the arrival of the president, you know, the guards had fallen into formation with several general salutes taken to welcome squad leaders and the commander of the guards brigade. So all of this is live now. The president is watching this. Also present at the arena to welcome Mr. President at the time where the Minister of Defense, Chief of Defense Staff, ministers and other members of the president's cabinet. The president actually is expected to inspect a parade. No, is expected to inspect the guards and sign the anniversary register. So 2022 Democracy Day, this is the day after the president gave his speech. And we'll be talking about that speech, and my guest is Mr. Deyemi Saka. Mr. Saka is a public affairs analyst and media consultant.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, sir. Yes. Thanks for making the time for us.
Thanks for having me.
The president was saying yesterday, I don't know if it was with nostalgia or he was just doing his job. He did mention that he was addressing us for the last time as your president, quoting the president's word, that this is the last time as your president, because by this time next year, there will be another president in place.
Oh, well, I don't know how to feel. Like, the probably would mix feelings. Some Nigerians will be excited that, yes, okay, we have a president in place addressing us, The response or reaction to it will be how much how far you've rated this administration in the last 7 years. Mm-hmm. If you think the government has done so well, you probably want to you start feeling bad that, no, this is an end of an era, a good era. If you feel that the government or the administration has performed poorly or did meet up to expectation, you probably would start counting down to May 29, 2023. So the reaction will be mixed from Nigerians, among Nigerians. But the good thing is we still have a democracy in place to celebrate.
Indeed. Well, the president did, he was concerned about security, and he spoke about that. He spoke about security, but he did say that there were some reforms in place, and he gave his word again. He pledged that the country would do the right thing for those victims of terror. They would be apprehended, he sympathized with those who had lost their lives and those who are in captivity. He had said that we will not rest until they are returned to their loved ones.
No, I think we should say this, and without any intention of patronizing or rubber dig of Mr. President. I think that is Mr. President's speech is contradictory to what is on ground. There's something called Operation Safe Corridor. Operation Safe Corridor is a radicalization program supervised by the Presidency and the Ministry of Defense. And what that simply means is they believe that some terrorists, some Boko Haram insurgents that have been, arrested are de-radicalized. I don't know under the psychological program that they went through, and they are introduced back into the society. Yeah. So where's the justice for people that have lost their loved ones? If you are releasing this terrorist, at some point, there's a clamor for foreign education for these radicalized terrorists. So where's the justice Mr. President is talking about? And Mr. President cannot feign ignorance of this project because it's under his direct supervision through the Ministry of Defense. It's not even the armed forces organizing it. There was a time a lot of us erroneously blamed the army or kept blaming the army for being responsible for this. But it's the Ministry of Defense under the presidential directive, and I don't know. So
yeah, that has always been a subject of discussion in the media and all over the place in the public spaces. The point that you're speaking about now, that look, it's a war against fellow citizens, co-nationals.
Yeah.
And to that extent, it can't be handled, because the thing is that the Nigerian army, it is said or thought, can actually take these guys out if they were to bring all that they could, all that they had to bear. That's one simplistic way of looking at it. But they must receive the command from the commander-in-chief. Say, take no prisoners. Now, I don't believe they want to go as far as take no prisoners.
No, because, like, okay, how do you, as a theater commander, or what you probably some instances we're going to call a sector commander, want to go hard on a terrorist hideout and probably want to neutralize them extensively? And at one point, you're saying that the government of the day is coming up with programs and policies that it's just obvious that they are pampering these guys. You have a conflict of interest or a conflict of instructions to carry out. And like you rightly said, the commander-in-chief is called the commander-in-chief because it sits atop the command, control, and communications structure of the armed forces. So if the commander-in-chief body language or pronouncement or policies is not going towards that direction, you don't want to lose your command or commission. That's the truth. So when a lot of people say, when people keep saying that there's no political will to crush these criminals and terrorists, they are right. And I probably want the commander-in-chief with no intent of insult, and the service chiefs to go pick up a series called Homeland. When you watch that series, you know that you can never de-radicalize a terrorist.
Well, okay, and this is exactly what the authorities
now, yeah,
are
you can never. And America, the U.S. government were not high on some cheap things that they cited Guantanamo Bay, even outside the shores of America. And if you go to Guantanamo Bay, against the promotion and campaign for human rights and everything, the rights of these people are constantly violated because they want to extract information from them. The American intelligence community is so serious about the belief that once they can crush the Yemen hub or wing of Al-Qaeda, they probably have recorded a lot of successes when it comes to the fight on terror. That's why they're still keeping Guantanamo Bay inside. That's why they're still doing all they're doing. But in our case, we have a radicalization center in the heart of Nigeria, not necessarily Abuja, but in the heart of Nigeria. You are radicalizing terrorists and you're releasing them back into the society. You see, we've been fed with a misconception and deliberate misinformation when they keep saying Boko Haram is a ragtag army, Boko Haram is a ragtag army. These guys are well-funded army of psychopaths that are intelligent, doing devious things, and they are so good at mind games. And that is it.
Well, he mentioned security. It's that one.
And he said they've restructured. So how many terrorist attack has been fought by the DSS or the counter-terrorism units that a lot of us has been shouting that should be decentralized, but are still domiciled at the NSF forces in Abuja? So
clearly, you think that in terms of security, a heck of a lot more is possible.
We need to do, and he said the military assets we procured were delivered and
has been
they've been deployed. I bet to say that the Tucano jets are probably gathering dust in the NAF hangar in Kaduna. And we don't need the Tucano jets. When we bought them, we still keep saying that what we need to fight this war, end this war, is attack helicopters. And I can sit down here and give a list. We probably could go to Russia and purchase what is called Hind. MH35, 37 is the improved version. If America will not sell us the 4th edition or the 4th grade, improved grade of Apache, the first and the second version can be sold to us, first and second generation, and we'll finish this war.
Let's look at another aspect. The president, he's casting his eye over the political terrain. First of all, President Buhari, has done what presidents before him, after Hope 93, have not been able to do. He has called it out. He says let me see. On June 12, 1993, quoting the president directly now, on June 12, 1993, Nigeria saw the best in our citizens as we all went out to vote peacefully, and we all went out to vote peacefully. By June 24, 1993, we also saw the worst of our leadership as the elections were annulled. I mean, he called it for what it is. And don't forget that it is President Buhari that finally did the needful in election.
I am laughing, and I know this might sound unpopular, but yes, he did the right thing. I guess maybe I probably want my own personal opinion that President Muhammadu did the right thing to deflect our minds and take our attention off the wrong things he did in the build-up to June 12 after it. I stand to be corrected, and I challenge anybody that will tell me or give me any facts or anything that President Muhammadu Buhari then, as a private citizen, lent a voice against the annulment on June 12. Never. In fact, he served with one of the greatest beneficiaries of June 12 annulment, General Sani Abacha. So, yes, but all can be forgiven because he acknowledged and he saw June 12 as the true democracy day. We could say we should forgive him, but if he can't just come out now and just dissociate himself from the responsibility of past leadership, because he played an active role in it, directly and indirectly. He benefited General Sani Abacha. He served General Sani Abacha for a very long time. It's on record, and he never for once spoke against the annulment till date, or maybe till yesterday.
Well,
but yesterday he never did.
I thought that was inherent in the president agreeing that.
No, I said we could forgive. We could, take our mind away from all his wrongdoings and whatever because of the noble gesture he did make, and accepting and acknowledging June 12 as a true democracy day. But it's they're all in bed together with this. He just trying to separate himself. Yes, smart one, nice one, patriotic, nationalistic enough, and that is it.
That's it. Okay, Reverend Dominic, a fine morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Chief Yori. Good morning to your guests.
Thank you.
Good morning.
First of all, I want to salute your guest. He has spoken gallantly, has spoken to power. But I want to add this, Yori. When I listen to my president, this only president I voted since 1999 that won election. When I listen to my president, there are two things that came into my mind: sadness, sorrow, and disappointment. Sadness in the sense that I expected much from him. That Mr. President in this nation was and he made it is for me. Because most of us, my Yakub, judge of this world, most of us thought that he was managed of bloodletting. Do I give you first information again, which you know? Yesterday, 50 people have been kidnapped who went to wedding from Katsina to Sokoto. So as Mr. President is giving us hope, the hope is shattered every second. It's a disappointment. Number two, on the hope, he has been going away. Then he has no choice, he must go. Somebody can give up half on him. That should not be this thing. He will have to go by May next year. That is nothing to do. But for some doubting Thomas is to giving them hope. But some know that Buhari is a man of his word. But what has happened this time that we have focused while I said in this bloodletting? What happened this time? My son is abroad. Let me make you laugh. Do you know where it's abroad? That Nigerian children cannot school in Nigeria. We have to go to Cotonou, pop Cotonou to school children. It's a sad thing for me. And Buhari is in power. That speech yesterday gave me sadness and disappointment. But whatever is happening, by next year he's going to leave. I pray that Nigeria continue. God bless Nigeria.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Reverend Dominic. Well, yeah, without prejudice to Reverend Dominic's, impressions and comments, and indeed yours, at least the president, as I said, cast his eye on the political terrain and commended so far the political activity. He spoke about the magnanimity of those that had won elections so far, and the graciousness of those that had lost, that were defeated. And all of this probably is leading to what, and he sort of implied in there, but he has said it categorically elsewhere, that he is absolutely committed to ensuring transparent, free, and fair elections.
No, I think after the back and forth of the electoral bill from being rejected, going back to National Assembly, the fact that the assent was assent to the bill and we now have electronic transmission of result is a good thing for us, and it gives hope that yes, the system will be more transparent and Nigerians will have more confidence in the system. And if I want to go by the words and assessments of one man that's in the sense that a lot of people say is responsible for June 12, General Babangida, we could want to rate some people, especially the military top brass or former leaders, would say, well, President Muhammadu Buhari met in one Nigeria and probably will still be living in one Nigeria, so you can say he hasn't failed. Because to some people, they believe that the sovereign entity called Nigeria, in as much as it's intact, any leader has succeeded while in office. So it's a good one for him. And with the electronic transmission of results, I believe the system will be transparent. And my words are to political actors since that happened is I'll tell them that you start investing more in your media communications and engagement, because political toggery, ballot box snatching will not work this time around because the result will be transmitted electronically, so there's no way you can snatch ballot box and affect or influence the outcome of the result. So at least with that, with the Electoral Act and the way it has gone and is still going, we believe the system is good enough to give us, it's to be a true reflection of the political will of the people. Okay.
Mr. George, good morning to you, sir, and thank you for holding on. Go ahead now, please.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and my great update.
Yes.
Uncle Yori, I personally believe it is unnecessary casting minds back to what the president did or did not do during the annulment of that June 12 election in 1993. When a man begins to do that which is good, it is only natural that you concentrate on his present so that his task does not distract him again. He couldn't have forced Babangida at that time to, not to annul it. Or many people said things which the Babangida government did not listen to. So his own would not have made a difference. I'm concerned with what he is doing now. But Uncle Yori, I listened to his speech, and I was taught by some of the things he said that this democracy or that election remains the freest and fairest and cleanest in this country. So they are missing something that election reflected, which is no longer there now. That takes me back or brings me to this issue of choosing presidential candidate for the APC candidate. If we are struggling to bring back the good old days, there should be some sacrifice in it. We have to look at what is good for the country and not what is good for some individuals. The calculations that is on ground does not favor the...
So sorry about that, but we lost Mr. George, but stay with us nevertheless, because we're going to continue the conversation. In fact, the direction which you are going, we probably are going to get there, so we'll have a chunk, and I suspect that Mr. George in IKEJA will likely call in again. Well, we've run out of time, but you've shown, I think you've expressed your opinion that you've not been unduly impressed.
No, I haven't. It's not impressive enough. We shouldn't. No.
Even as there are some things that are worthy of commendation.
Oh, well, like what, please? You can remind me.
Huh.
Really? I'm not being sarcastic. Because
really, you feel that badly about it?
No, as much as you want to, like the first caller said, you've been given the message of hope, you want to hang on to it, and the very next minute after that, someone tells you, brings you back to reality, that stop dreaming. You're in the dream world. So, like I said, I said this, and I probably, to respond to Mr. George, I laid those background analysis, and I said, whatever he didn't do, acknowledging June 12 as Democracy Day is enough for us to overlook what he didn't do.
Okay.
At least it's done the right thing.
Okay.
And secondly, I said from the school of thought of former military leaders and what have you, that President Muhammadu Buhari met a one Nigeria and probably will leave office with a one Nigeria intact. He has succeeded in office.
I think that's a fine place to leave it.
That's a fine place to leave it.
All things considered.
Yeah, there's one Nigeria.
So thank you very much, Deye Misaka,
It's nice
public affairs analyst and media consultant.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Okay, so stay with us. We're gonna take you back to Eagle Square in Abuja, where the annual military exercise parade is going on, and from there we'll come into our next story. So stay with us, please.
Children, you have exercised your right to speak. And on behalf of all your parents and the citizens, you are all your privilege. Yes? So let me ask you, there is just one of the legs. The existence of the land is dependent on all those things you have mentioned. And if you think carefully, you need each other for the land. Hey, my daughter. Mama, you said you were good with trade and commerce. And you, my son, you are good with cocoa. Happy cocoa. Very good. Let me see you take his resource, which is the cocoa. Let me see what you can do with it. What can you do with this cocoa?
Mama, hey, with my skills in trade and commerce, by the time I package and market this cocoa, Mama, I will make triple the quantity of this cocoa.
So you will make triple of this cocoa, eh?
Very good. My children, now you see that you can do well with each other's resources as you have done with your skills of trade and commerce and the cocoa. You can do the same for your cotton, the agricultural produce, and the crude oil. Because when you do this land will flourish like a tree planted by the waterside and be a symbol of excellence. My children, come together. Come together. Oh, my children. Very good, my children. In fact, put your hands together. Put your hands together. Yes. Yes. Put your hands together. Come together. Let this be the start of peace, unity, and progress. Very good.
For that beautiful playlet there by the Adila Cultural Troupe. And what we are witnessing at the moment is a cultural troupe display showcasing Nigeria moving forward from the 6 geopolitical zones. It is a display of our cultural heritage and tradition. As you can see, the Daba are seen riding on their beautiful horses and their colorful costumes depicting royalty from the northeastern part of our country, alongside the Kakaki troupe welcoming the Maliki dancers. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Maliki dance is a social dance of the Kanuri-speaking people of Borno State in the northeastern part of Nigeria. The dance is slow moving, fluid and majestic, which seeks to capture the Kanuri core value of peace, elegance and pride in a history that dates back to more than 1,000 years ago.